Welcome to this episode of Barter and Business, where we'll be discussing lessons learned with Jen Anderson. Let's get into it. Welcome to Barter and Business, where we delve into bartering through interviews and personal stories. From my trading business to BarterPay, the trading journey started with my dad's business. Now, as a BarterPay franchise owner, I juggle family life and coaching. Tune in for industry secrets and inspiring conversations. Welcome back for another episode of Barter and Business. We're here with Jen Anderson again. If you missed the last episode, it was the human behind the business. And this episode is all about lessons learned. So thank you for being here again, Jen.
Thank you. I'm so honored.
So my question for today is, what accomplishments, business or personal, are you the most proud of and why?
Did we say the accomplishments in business, I believe?
Anything business or personal that you feel has really defined?
I feel it's so interconnected.
Yeah, exactly.
And so my first answer would be my kids. We started unschooling almost 3 years ago now, or 2.5 years ago, and being able to run a successful business at the same time. So they're very interconnected. It was terrifying. At that point, I had grown a multiple six-figure business. And how was I going to support my kids in this new journey and be able to run that business and still have time for myself and time for my partner and fun time? And what was this all going to look like? And so I would say, reflecting back on life, that's absolutely like the biggest accomplishment that I have done. I'm also extremely proud of, I felt very unaligned to my business last year. And I felt like, I talk about money all the time in business. It's one of my soul's purposes. I know that, to talk about money, and it's a sticky subject that not a lot of people like to talk about. And it's funny to me because it's kind of slide that under the rug, or don't bring that up, or you don't talk those kinds of numbers, or it just wasn't a norm in my family for sure. And when it was, there was some sticky energy around it and some negative connotations or feelings around it. And so it's been a big piece for me, being able to walk away from a business that was earning a lot of money and as the sole provider of my house as well, and saying, no, something isn't right here, I need to step back, was the most terrifying thing that I ever did. I had systems in place at that point that were very supportive. I didn't have to be in my business on a regular basis, which I still loved. I absolutely love people. And so I know I can never have a business that doesn't have that part of the aspect to it. However, I knew I was meant to step away. And that was absolutely terrifying. Simultaneously, and now reflecting back, but in the moment, it didn't feel like this. My husband also wanted to go back to work. And I don't know which chicken or egg came first. It's all very it just all kind of went together. And that was a big one for me because he actually wanted to work away from home. And I really wanted to honor that for him. We had been together at this point. I had retired him years before that. And so he had been with us 24/7, essentially. We did our own things, but for the most part, we got to choose what that looked like. And for him to go away to work, oh, that was terrifying. How can we be together all of that time and then him to now be gone? He was gone about 10 days. And so what we actually ended up doing, because I had shut down my business, was we went with him. And so we spent the almost 3 months on and off. We'd come home for a couple of weeks for the kids to see their friends, but then we would go back with him. And so we were able to do that because of the business that I had built and because of what he was doing for work too. And so we were still able to bring parts of that life together. So the biggest piece to coming back to it was, can I stay in complete energetic alignment with who I am, with my family, with my partner, with my life, and still bring a new part to this business forward for myself? That was a huge accomplishment. And every day I have to remind myself, am I doing this just to earn money? Because that never works for me. Am I doing this just because I should? That never works good in the long run. Or do I actually enjoy? And when there's pieces that I don't enjoy or that start to feel sticky, then I do pivot into knowing that there's something else out there. There's just the smallest churn, and that will help huge.
So as you alluded to, a lot of people aren't willing to talk numbers and don't talk numbers. And it's like as much as everyone's in business to make money, they don't talk numbers. And so I would love if you're willing to talk numbers of showing that you've gotten results with what you've been doing and that it works. And I think there's so many people, myself included, that I see these people talking about energetics, but then the money isn't behind it to prove that it works. And I have a hard time with that. So if you're willing to talk numbers as far as just success on paper, what does that look like for you and your business and your family?
Firstly, I just want to touch on that there is such an emotional charge when it comes to money and any dollar amount. And that's why I love talking and working with people around money. So people will often come in with big money goals, and I'll get to kind of some crazy money things that have happened in my life that I just can't deny that they happened. So then it was like, okay, I guess this is meant to be part of what I talk about and speak about so deeply. But know that there was a time that it was so hard and negative, and we were living paycheck to paycheck, but we're entrepreneurs, so there's no paycheck that we're living for that's guaranteed to come in the 2 weeks. So just to preface it with that, like, I have so much respect and love and compassion and empathy, and I know that's part of the reason I went through some of these harder times, so that I could have such a deep understanding of that with other people. I know what it's like. I just recorded a podcast yesterday saying, I know what it's like to pull up to the gas pump and be like, I think I'm only gonna put $25 in today because I don't know what we're gonna do for groceries, or this kid needs runners. So I have such a deep understanding of that aspect. So I'm gonna talk some really big numbers that if they're not your reality, then they don't seem like they're possible. And so in my business, I was into manifestation, law of attraction, quantum physics, metaphysics, all of these different things over the few years that I was really diving into it. And I was excited about it, but yet I would manifest $5,000 and then nothing for 3 months. And then it was like I was living just at that survival borderline, and it was so uncomfortable, but yet some of these things had happened, like a random $5,000 would come in. And so I couldn't deny that there was truth and absolution in that was occurring. And so I decided to go deep into the metaphysics and the quantum field with all of the money aspects. And so what that means is you're doing less, being more. Okay? It's really dropping into your energetic blueprint of what you want to receive in your life. And it can't be from a place of I should for debt. Tried to manifest money for years around that, but we have such a negative anchor around that within ourselves that it's really difficult to bring more money in from that place, right? So we're in such a negative, and then we're trying to receive money so that we're not in this negative, but we're trying to call that in from such a negative space. It just doesn't work well. It was a hard lesson because I just wanted to get out of that so I could help more people, impact more people. I'm all about ROI as return on investment, or ripple of impact. Ripple of impact really landed for me, and that's truly what I wanted in my heart. So let's talk big money for a second. When I really started to lean into the quantum physics side and the metaphysical side and the deep energy work within myself and really aligning to that on a regular basis, it's a practice. It takes work. It's not going to be tomorrow all of this money is going to come in. So don't take it as the wishy-washy, watch The Secret, you're good to go, you're a millionaire. But when I really leaned into that, all of a sudden I had my first 5-figure month. And so it was about $12,000. And then all of a sudden, I don't know, less than 10 days later, I was at $37,000. And I was like, okay, last month was $2,500. The biggest month I had ever had. I think I had manifested $24,000 before in a month, but it was multiple different things. It wasn't through business. And so this was brand new to me to just bring it in through my business. And that was really exciting and terrifying. So it's like I'd open the floodgates of receiving money, and then I'd freak out and be like, oh, close. Yeah, nope, can't have any more money. And long story short, which was the longest 30-day period in my life, but it was also exhilarating. But it was just when I look back, there was such a roller coaster of emotions of $10,000 just came in. Another $10,000 just came in. Now it went up to $87,000 cash in my bank accounts, and then $104,000 in sales. And this wasn't through launching a huge program. This wasn't through putting anything new out there. There was no huge strategy to it other than really aligning with who I was and the energetics behind receiving more. I didn't go in with, I'm gonna make $100,000 this month, but I really went into like, I'm gonna feel good around money, and I'm gonna feel good around me, and I'm gonna feel good around my business, and really tuning into that. And then all of this wild money that made no logical sense to any expert out there. Like, I don't have the numbers, I don't have big followings, I don't have systems and strategies. It's all organic, makes zero sense on paper.
You don't have a website.
I don't have a website.
You make that much money.
Yes, I did at one point. I don't know if I did at that point. There was one point where I had a website, and I was like, why? I'm just doing this because I feel like I should have this to be professional, and maybe I'll have one in the future. Never say never, but right now it just doesn't feel super aligned to have that.
That is so amazing. Well, thank you for being so transparent. And I think that's what I loved about you from the moment I saw you on Instagram, is the transparency, because everyone talks about do this energetically and then no one talks about the result. It's like a very taboo subject. So thank you for being willing to talk about that. That's amazing.
Thank you for having me and holding space for that conversation.
For sure.
Yeah.
So what is the best way for people to get a hold of you if they'd like to hear more or work with you?
Again, go to Instagram, and it's Into the Deep with Jen. That's the only place you can really contact me.
I love it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Catch us on the next episode, where we'll be talking about the smoke and mirrors of business. That's a wrap for Barter and Business. I appreciate you joining me in exploring the world of bartering. Keep trading and living your passion. Until next time.